Hey, good morning everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Freestyle Friday sessions where today we're going to talk about finances. Specifically, we're going to categorize on how to pay down debt and how to knock out your debt a little bit faster than what you would. And then next week we're going to talk about finances on investment, so stay tuned for that on the next topic. This is kind of a two-part series with financial being the topic, okay? So if you like this content, please comment, like, share, subscribe. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I'm all for constructive criticism. Let me know how I can improve. Hopefully the visual and audio is doing a little bit better today. I am using my Nikon DSLR instead of just a little webcam or my iPhone. When I upload it onto YouTube, it gets a little fuzzy and it looks weird, and I know that can distract a lot of individuals from continuously watching the video. But again, thank you for your support. Thank you those who already subscribed and who are enjoying this content. Again, give me some information if there's something that you would like me to cover, or we can just pick each other's brains apart and say, hey, you know, what's going on? Utilize each other for support within these times. And that's all this really is for, right? It's for me to give some knowledge that I've acquired over life and over my time in different realms of your world, right? Rather that be physical, mental, social, spiritual, and today financial. All right, so today we're going to talk about those finances. My wife and I, we use what's called the Dave Ramsey Snowball effect to pay down on debt. If you're not familiar with it, just look it up, Google it. He has a lot of content, a lot of books, a lot of videos that go over it. But it's as simple as this. I'm going to go over that as well as a little few tips for your mortgage and how to pay down on your mortgage a little bit faster. All right, so it's simple as this. Write down all your debt from least to greatest amount, okay? So if you have a credit card loan for $1,000, a few credit card loans, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, then you got a student loan or personal loan for, you know, 4 or 5 plus thousand. Just write it all in order from least to greatest, and then figure out what the minimum payments are on each group. Divide another column, and then figure out how much you have monthly to be able to put in to those, right? Say you were able to put in a little bit more. Let's say you had $200 petty cash that you could tuck away and put towards down your debt. Before this process, I used to put that $200, I used to divvy it up to all different amounts of my debt, and I felt, you know, at the time, oh, this is good, I'm paying off a little bit more towards principal each time. But it's not compounding and snowballing the way this process works a little bit more effectively, okay? So stop doing that. Stop putting down or dividing your little bit of income extra, and make your money work for you for your advantage. So instead, take that $200 and put it to the least amount of debt you have for that first top priority, right? That $1,000 credit card loan, put that $200 to that one, on top of the minimum payment that you would already be paying, right? So $200 extra cash plus a $20 minimum payment for your $1,000 debt, and now you're paying $220 each month while still maintaining minimum payments on each other loan until you knock that first one out. Once you knock that first one out, you roll that into the next one. You take that $220, okay, and then you take the remaining minimum that you were paying on that, let's say $40, and now you're paying $260 a month to that loan until you knock that out. And you constantly keep on gaining that momentum and that snowball effect. So by the time you're paying off your last loan, you're paying like $400, $500, $600 to one loan, and you're going to be able to knock that out a lot faster. So that was tip number one. Tip number two is kind of this same aspect with paying down on debt, but you look at it from an interest perspective versus a value perspective. So let's say all your debt is roughly the same, maybe, you know, all $3,000 credit card, $3,000 personal loan, $3,000 you know, debt here, wherever it might be. Now you're going to look at the highest interest rate, and you're going to pay that one off first while still maintaining the minimum payments on the remaining, thus allowing you to pay off something that has higher interest rate, so you're paying more towards principal and less towards that interest over time. You knock that one out first, snowball it into the effect of the next few loans until you're all done knocking out that debt. So, simple process, really easy. My wife and I were able to pay off on our entire wedding. We're so close to paying off both our car loans. We're so close to paying off our student loans, but we're following this process over time. All right, and when new debt comes into play, my wife just got LASIK, so that's a loan. We did a little care credit, so we have a new credit debt, right? We added that right in there. We figured out what the interest rate is, we figured out what the minimum payments were, and we just prioritized it based off that. And we're still knocking out the minimum payments while we're paying down on the least amount of debt possible. So keep that in mind. I know all debt doesn't stay the same, but just make sure that you're doing your due diligence. The last thing I want to talk about is mortgage. Stop paying monthly payments, at least once a month payments. Pay twice a month, first and the 15th. All right, because mortgage rates and mortgage loans accrue interest daily. Okay, so when it's daily and you wait that 30 full days to pay off, you're paying more towards interest, less towards principal, and it's going to take you longer to pay that debt off. Okay, instead, rather you have a 15 fixed, a 30-year variable, or vice versa. It does not matter. This process works. Pay the 1st and the 15th of each month. But you don't have to pay more. You don't have to pay less. All right. If your mortgage is $1,200, you take $600 on the 1st, $600 on the 15th, $15 or 15 days only accrued interest. You're able to pay more towards principal and less towards the interest. Again, those were just these little tips and tricks that I've learned over time, and hopefully they can help you and benefit you in working towards financial freedom. Again, stay tuned for next Friday, where we're going to talk about investments and how you can get $1 million in your lifetime by the time you're 65, and smart investments to establish yourself for financial freedom. Again, thank you for enjoying this content, and like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay tuned. Have a great weekend. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Bye.